I'm sending a clear message to the world. America is back.
President Biden banked the whole idea of his presidency on a return to normalcy. Biden had numbers that were pretty good by the standards of 2021, remarkably stable through the first 6 months or so in office.
Today, we're closer than ever to declaring our independence from a deadly virus.
But you look at the events that started to happen over the summer.
A suicide bomb attack outside the airport, killing 13 U.S. service members.
And you get a portrait of why Americans started to sour on President Biden, at least around the margins.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
President Biden was able to maintain a pretty good storyline around what his presidency was doing early on. You saw an approval rating that never really budged from the mid-50s. And it just seemed like the kind of steadiness that Biden was trying to project was out there in the country.
As president, I immediately rejoined the Paris Agreement.
The president is signing 3 executive orders to rebuild and strengthen our immigration system.
We watched President Biden today sign his historic relief bill into law, one of the largest relief efforts since the Great Depression.
Got it. Thank you all.
You saw an economy that was growing, a general sense of optimism after a very challenging year of the pandemic, and that was reflected in people thinking generally that the president was doing a decent job.
I'm announcing that I will direct all states, tribes, and territories to make all adults, people 18 and over, eligible to be vaccinated no later than May 1.
We meet 9-year-old Josel and 10-year-old Joseph. The boys left home more than a month ago. They traveled all the way from Honduras.
For pockets of time, you saw the crisis at the border begin to overwhelm everything else. The pictures are damaging. The takeaway that people have is, again, one of a lack of control. I think have added to a sense that the president doesn't have a firm hand on the till of this particular issue.
Now to the latest on the race to vaccinate the country. More than 134 million Americans have received at least one dose, and President Biden touting 200 million doses have been given since taking office.
After nearly 20 years and 4 administrations, President Joe Biden announced this week U.S. military presence in Afghanistan will end by September 11th.
The U.S. added 266,000 jobs in April, well below what analysts were expecting, and the unemployment rate also rose to 6.1%.
When it comes to the president's approval rating, everything matters, but you can also say that nothing is determinative. But what does happen is an accumulation of storylines. Those add up to the general perceptions of a president.
Cases surge of the dangerous Delta variant. Officials say they are seeing more severe cases in places where vaccination rates are low.
You saw over the summer the Delta variant. Suddenly, we were talking about COVID again. We were talking about another school year of restrictions. We were talking about reintroducing mask mandates.
We had a really good meeting, and to answer your direct question, we have a deal.
President Biden plans to announce a vaccine mandate for the federal government's more than 2 million workers tomorrow.
The idea of a mandate, a requirement of a vaccine, is a polarizing one. So you start to peel away some of that support when you're requiring people to do something. I think for a president who said he could end the pandemic, who said he could do it without vaccine mandates, it undermined him just a bit.
Now to the pandemic, a CDC forecast now saying COVID hospitalizations could quadruple by Labor Day to more than 33,000 admissions a day.
We begin tonight with the difficult news out of Afghanistan. A suicide bomb attack outside the airport, killing 13 U.S. service members.
These are just devastating, heartbreaking scenes here. This is the difference potentially between the life-saving work that's been carried out by the military here and potentially death by the Taliban.
I think the Afghanistan pullout, the botched withdrawal there, underscored a sense of instability that changed the narrative of the Biden presidency's first year. It's an odd thing with Afghanistan because most Americans would tell pollsters they wanted the war in Afghanistan to end. But the way in which it happened seeming to catch the White House, the administration off guard. So to see us leave in some sort of disgrace, President Biden, although he inherited this war, I think created new political problems for himself by owning the decision the way that he did.
This morning, an urgent crisis at the border. More than 10,000 men, women, and children seeking asylum in Texas.
The Biden administration faces another crisis amid a growing backlog in the global supply chain.
People want and expect an economy that functions, whether that means having a job, being able to get a job, whether that means predictable pricing on what you buy, and finally, whether it means you're able to get what you order in a timely way.
For the first time in 20 years, American infrastructure investment will grow faster than China's in the year ahead.
The notion of investing more in roads and bridges and Wi-Fi and the like, those are very popular notions that most Americans can get behind, and they drew bipartisan support in Congress. But people need to feel it in their lives, feel it in their day-to-day for it to actually reflect itself in an approval rating. And that hasn't happened yet.
Just 11 days have passed since South Africa first reported the Omicron variant to the World Health Organization, raising global concerns and renewed uncertainty about the future of the pandemic.
We're talking about criticism from health experts right now. The president said that this is not a failure, and he is repeatedly saying right now that they did not anticipate how quickly Omicron would spread.
Former President of the United States of America has created and spread a web of lies about the 2020 election.
New numbers tonight showing inflation now at the highest level since 1982.
This is an administration that needs a reset when it comes to public opinion polling. I'd expect that the White House is going to look for ways to connect policies to people's lives, to show progress.
Let's go get this done.
To have the president appear as the face of things that are happening. So functionally, it means putting the country's mind at ease.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.